super excited for today. I've been sick for a week, but now we're back, and we're going to be hitting some chest today, which is going to be pretty sick. Going to get a good pump, and yeah, I'm just so ready. I'm like the most excited I've been in a long time to go to the gym, because of the hiatus that I've been on, and I'll be able to start making videos again. But I think the last video I made was all the way back almost 2 weeks ago on Thursday, and I went to a rave and then I got sick from the rave, so I won't be doing that for a while. I'm gonna really lock in, and a lot of people say I'm gonna lock in, but you know, when I say this, I mean it. So we're gonna just be straight on and grind for summertime, because especially after seeing all those videos of people saying like going through pain right now on the cardio is less painful than being like fat on the beach in summer, and that is definitely one of the most true statements I've ever heard in my life, being a former fat kid. I will say though, being a former fat kid definitely did give me some good calves, I will say that. So anyways, just to walk you through the day, today is Monday, chest day, chest, tricep, and shoulder day, and we're going to be starting off with some incline Smith per usual. I'll probably go to some flat barbell press just because I'm feeling that today, and then we'll finish off chest with some pec deck like usual, and then we'll move on to shoulders just to bisect the workout from chest and triceps, because you use triceps on all of those chest movements except for pec deck that I mentioned indirectly, so I'll give them a little bit of a break. So with shoulders, we'll do, I kind of want to do some shoulder press today, actually. I think I'm going to do that. And then a little bit of lateral raises. The shoulder press doesn't really make any sense, but we're going to do it anyway. I feel like it, and it can't hurt, right? So we'll be doing that. And then after shoulders, we're going to do some triceps. So usually the tricep exercises I do don't really change, but for content's sake, I might change them up. I don't know. Usually I just do push downs and the overhead machine skull crusher, but I don't know. I think I'll still do push downs, or I could do JM press. Actually, I could show you guys JM press. That would be pretty cool, actually, right? Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll do JM press and push downs, and then that'll be it for the day. And then might get some core in, or I might save that for leg day, and then we'll do some cardio, obviously. And yeah, that's just gonna be it through the whole day. But I'm so excited again, just because, like, oh my god, it's been a whole week. I've just been sick. It sucked so much. The last workout I did, oh wait, no, the last upload I had was on Monday. We have last week. Yeah, Monday last week, because yeah, I think, I'm not sure, I'll have to check. I mean, you guys already know, but oh my god, I've been hearing so much, or I've been seeing so much stuff on my TikTok about the Minecraft movie, man. There's so many underrated quotes. Everyone's talking about the chicken jockeys, the I Am Steves, but dude, I gotta say, Does anyone want lava and chicken? I think that's one of the best ones. I'm also a big fan of Diamond Armor Full Set. And, shit, what's the last one? Oh, the one where he's like, he just made a sword. He's like, he got a sweet blade. I think those are the 3 most underrated quotes you can have in the movie, or that there is in the movie. Yeah, I wanted to also talk to you guys about like protein powder and just like nutrition with protein in general. So I'm not a doctor, but I'm giving you the knowledge that I wish that I had about protein, and just trying to get your protein in, because it's a big issue for a lot of people. I never really had a issue with it, but so with protein, like, obviously, the number one rule is you want to get in your whole protein, and that's like the most challenging part is people can't eat like enough, like their appetite is already satiated and they can't get in enough protein. So my solution to that would be always try to pair carbs with protein if that's an issue for you, because the carbs will help trigger your appetite a little bit more, so you can get a little bit more food in. As weird as it sounds, if it's really dire, you can honestly just sprinkle some sugar on the whatever protein you're eating, whether it's like chicken or steak or whatever, and that'll also trigger your appetite to kind of your body's going to want to eat more just because of the sugar. You indirectly kind of like create a problem with that if your weight is an issue, but if you're a skinny guy, hard gainer, I would heavily encourage that. If you don't mind the taste of sugar on like steak, which sounds really weird, but I guess there's like brown sugar rubs, so it's not too far off. I would definitely try that. And then if you're the other way around, I would just eat it. Like, if you're struggling with your weight and you can't seem to lose anything, I would just eat chicken and fish all day, because that's my issue, is I really struggle to get the weight off at a certain point. So I would just eat a bunch of chicken and fish, like chicken and tilapia. Even salmon's good too for a cut. Like, everyone says like, oh, like salmon's so many calories. Like, honestly, it's not, dude. Like 16 ounces is a pound. A pound of salmon is like 400 or 500 calories. It's nothing compared to like that much of like tri-tip. Tri-tip would be like double the amount, I think. Don't fact check me on that. But yeah, so that's regarding whole proteins if you can't get that in. And if you still can't get that in, keep trying on eating whole proteins. And then if you still can't get it in, then I would turn to a protein powder. And I'd recommend not having protein powder for more than one meal out of the day. And also, don't get mass gainers, because they're total shit. They're really bad for your body, really bad for digestion. I've had so many friends that have tried mass gainers and they just really don't work, because it's like not sustainable just having that like shit ton of powder and whatever. But yeah, if you are going to get protein, I would just get any run-of-the-mill one. I mean, there's like better ones for you. Like, I know, what's his face? Santa Cruz Medicinals has like a beef isolate protein powder. That's like supposedly better for your gut because it's more naturally sourced. But really the big thing you want to look for in protein powders is it whey protein isolate. That's the king of the like types of whey protein. And also you want whey protein, you don't want plant-based, because plant-based is very hard to digest. Your body can't really draw out a lot of the protein that's in it for muscle building, so it's just not optimal if you want to build muscle. So whey protein, animal-based, isolate. So if you see like a concentrate, or there's like casein protein, or this, that, or the other, don't get it. Usually you can just go down to Costco and get those big bags of like Gold's Nutrition. It's not like the best, but I mean, we're talking about protein powder here. It's not really a protein powder that's going to be good for your gut anyways, so you might as well just, get the one from Costco and call it a day. I will say, though, I really want to hammer in this point that you need to eat whole protein, like anything. Chicken, steak, fish, eggs, egg whites. There's some plant-based proteins that are kind of good, like quinoa. I mean, you don't really eat that for the protein. It's kind of just like more of a fiber satiation thing, I think. But yeah, really focus on eating whole proteins, because obviously that stuff is supposed to be not like it's natural. You're supposed to be eating it if you want to get more protein in and build more muscle. And your body knows how to break it down. It's very simple, very direct pathway, versus like these other ones, versus like these protein powders, where it's just like not super like ideal for your gut, because your gut really suffers, and then your digestion gets all screwed up, and then you end up not being able to draw nutrients from other things if your gut's screwed up, and you got to take a probiotic. And I mean, you should be taking a probiotic, to be honest. A lot of people should, because they're deficient in it. But that's another thing. And yeah, dude, so moral of the story is focus on protein isolate, whey protein isolate, sorry. So whey protein isolate, animal-based, and that's the only thing you need. And it sucks to say, and people have been saying it for decades, but you want the quality of the whole protein that you're eating to be good. You don't want none of this, like, I don't know, like McDonald's. You don't want that. I mean, if you're in a pinch, you can get like an protein style, like In-N-Out thing. But for the most part, just go to Costco, go to like, Safeway, whatever. Go to a grocery store and actually get whole proteins. Even go to Walmart. Honestly, I think Walmart's still okay. A lot of people are like, don't get your meat from Walmart, but if you're on a budget and that's the best you can do, I think that's totally fine. It's better than, again, like going to McDonald's, because that's like, I don't understand why people say, oh, like, I'm on a budget, I can't afford a diet. Like, no, you're on a budget. That's the only thing you can afford, is to eat like clean, because all the stuff that's clean is, nobody wants to eat healthy. It's like dirt cheap. Just get a Costco membership. It's only $65 a year for the base membership, and get some chicken, get some fish. Like, dude, you can get what is it, like, oh my god, you can get, I forget how much chicken, but it's usually like $25 for like, I think it's like 6 pounds of chicken. That could last most people a whole week, unless you're like Ronnie Coleman or something. But yeah, just get some whole shit. Vegetables are cheap, rice is cheap. Like, people just make a bunch of excuses because they don't want to eat healthy, and it's really sad, because that's the whole state of the world right now. Everyone's super fat and whatever. But anyways, enough of that hostility. I'm trying to be here to encourage you guys to become more fit, or if you already are fit, just to help you on your journey and be kind of like a guide, because that's what I want. you know, that's what I've always wanted, and I want to give that to you guys. So anyways, I will see you guys in the gym. All right, so right here we're starting off with some incline barbell press, and I'm just warming up with the bar. Had to adjust the seat right there, and usually I just warm up with the bar and make sure my fingering is right, and try to make the reps look similar to what they would if 225 was on the bar. I got that tip from a Larry Wheels video, and honestly it makes sense. I mean, it's a warm-up set for what you should or the speed you should be moving at. So anyways, we're gonna slap on a 135 on the bar. Had to get some water really quick, and now we're into the next set. I want to highlight that I'm always have my thumb under the bar like I'm pressing a box above my head rather than a bar. It just helps me get the bar over the meat of my palm, and really it helps me push out the most amount of weight possible. And right here, just another warm-up set. This bench is a little weird because you have to put the weight almost behind your head. This is why I like Smith machine a little bit more, just because it's just right above your head, and you can also, forego a spotter, while with barbell you need a spotter, so you can't always just, be by yourself. But I did get a spotter for this. One of my friends, Jared, he's really cool. He's right there. Hey, Jared. So here I did 225 on the bar. Usually that's kind of the benchmark for me. It's usually my working weight on the bulk, so I always try to get to it even though I'm cutting. So right here, you're gonna see that I don't get to the efficacious rep range of 5 to 8 reps. I'm already struggling on number 2 there, but this is why you have a spotter, guys. It's so you can really go to failure on a free weight movement. So right there, he already had to spot me on the 4th rep, and I said, one more. So number 5. Okay, yeah, there you go. And so that's why you want a spotter. So I wouldn't have been able to do that if he wasn't there. I wouldn't have been able to go to failure. So anyways, we're getting into our next set. I took off the extra 45 on the bar and just put a plate in a 35. So again, I think this is more of my working weight, but I'm still gonna try to get 225 every time for my working weight. I don't know. Things might change if I do upper lower, but we'll see. And just trying to adjust the bar here. So 1 second. So I actually ended up just putting a plate in a 25 on the bar because I couldn't do the amount of reps I wanted to with a plate in a 35. I think it's because I didn't take a long enough rest break, but we'll fix that later. And here, just going to the individual rep range, I'm looking in the camera to see my form. And again, look at my hands. It looks like I'm pressing a box over my head, and the meat of my palm is directly under the bar. I had issues with this before when I had a different grip, and then this really helped me fix it. I also wanted to highlight that the bar was going directly in between my nipple line and my clavicle line. Alright, so moving on to flat barbell press. If you notice, I took my shirt off to show the pump. Unfortunately, in this shot, it doesn't look too good, but that's neither here nor there. And we're just doing 2 plates on flat for our target rep range of 5 to 8. So I think here I actually only do 4 or 5, and then I do a superset. But let's see. Three, 4. Okay, so yeah, I only got to 4 reps right there. So what I'm actually gonna do, since this is not decently into the workout, but since it's a little bit further than the first movement, I'm going to do a drop set. And typically I don't do a lot of drop sets, but since I really feel like I didn't get into the working weight range again on flat bench and incline. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a drop set, and it's not going to kill you. I actually like drop sets because they give you a better pump, but they also do muscle damage. But that's getting way into the complicated stuff that I can just more explain to you guys at a later time. So anyways, getting into the second part of the set, of the drop set, and just kind of focusing on form, focusing on the stretch mostly, and just wanted to get a lot of blood into my chest. I really love barbell flat press, but it's it's under a lot of scrutiny from a lot of people that are super scientific, especially just because it's not ideal. But I really like the feel of it, so I will do it from time to time. Anyways, moving on to here, we're going to pec deck, and I love this pec deck machine. It's very fluid. It's not clunky at all, and as you can see, I have a different grip here. It's a little bit above the handles, and I like this grip, and I got it from Jay Cutler, and it's just helps me get a better stretch and contraction, heavily on the contraction part, because it actually increases the range of motion. So moving on to our second, or our first working set right here, I put the weight up a little bit because that last set was low. I'm working in with a guy, you can't see him in the frame, but I just had to, do a first set for some reason because I didn't up the weight. I don't know why. But anyways, doing our first real working set here, and first rep was already really hard. You can see my face. But I want you guys to focus on my shoulders, on how they're level, and my elbows, how they're also level. Those are the two parameters that I usually go by if I want to have a good pec deck, form workout. And the reason being is that you don't want to put your shoulder joint at jeopardy, and that's an issue for a lot of people. And shoulders never really get fixed. I mean, I still have a lot of issues, even though I work on my shoulder a lot. I mean, it's like a very big point of emphasis, other than training legs and training my body in general, but training my shoulders and totally working on my rotator cuff, trying to do whatever I can to help alleviate some of the damage I've caused, is really one of the biggest key focuses that I have in the gym. All of you should be doing your rotator cuff work before you lift, because the more you wait and the less you do it, the more it's going to get screwed up, and later in life you're going to be paying the price. I wanted to add that rotator cuff work also, it's preventative, it's not a cure. So if your shoulders get screwed up and you haven't done anything for them in a long time, and it gets to the point where you're just totally immobile in your shoulders, you can't really fix that. I mean, obviously it's, the 21st century, we live in a time of God particles and, spaceships and whatever. But you really want to go about it the natural way and really prevent anything from happening before it happens. So anyways, we're going to get into our next set, our last working set for chest on this push day, and just wanted to add that my workouts are very simple and very homogeneous. By homogeneous I mean very similar each and every time. Last chest day I did the same exact thing. I just switched up, instead of flat bench I did Smith flat bench, and instead of incline bench I did Smith incline. But the volume always stays the same, and the same premise: progressive overload and mechanical tension. So progressive overload, what that means. It's just progressive overloading the weight over time. And mechanical tension, just means that, right there, I have a lot of tension from the weight to my, muscles, and couldn't get the weight up, and that's what we want, and that's why people talk about failure all the time. Okay, so moving on to shoulder press. This is very unorthodox. I know I just talked about having very similar workouts every time, and I don't usually do this. This is very like spontaneous for me. And I know this is like spontaneous, like what? You're just doing a shoulder press, Neil. But usually I'm very like structured in my workouts. I don't, usually go outside the training program. If you see that little wet spot on my pants, it was actually because I spilled some of my water bottle. I did not pee my pants. I want to make that very clear, guys. Wink, wink. But anyways, we're just doing some shoulder press. Alright, so got a better camera angle for you guys. Getting into the set right now, I want you to focus on how slow I'm going down towards the bottom, and really focusing on the stretch on my shoulders. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of exploding up instead of just going smooth like here, going super smooth. Even though this is the last set, I'm not, doing any herky-jerky movements. That's the most important part, especially when you're talking about shoulders. They are super, super injury prone. When I was taking anatomy, the biggest thing that stood out to me was the more mobile a joint is, the more injury prone it is. And that makes sense, because you look at your shoulders, you look at your knees, your ankles, your wrists, even your neck, even though that isn't, ultra mobile. You look at all those joints and you're like, that actually makes sense. And it's because they have the least amount of like structural integrity, because they have to be so mobile. And that's what happens when your shoulders or all those other joints I mentioned, when they get injured, is that scar tissue forms over them. And what the scar tissue does is it's like, no, you're not allowed to move. We're not letting you get re-injured. And really acts as more of like a concrete, reinforcing everything, but really allowing for way less movement and mobility. And that's why, doing a bunch of stretching is super important for all your joints. Anyways, getting into the set here, same premise, just doing a little bit more weight here. And again, watch as I go down. It's really, really slow and really deep. I want to feel the most amount of stretch possible. One, because I like the feeling, but two, because it's very, anabolic. It's very muscle building. And, everybody wants to have boulder shoulders, and I think I have the credentials to show that, there are multiple ways to do it. So with that thought in mind, carrying on with the shoulder topic, we're going to do some dumbbell lateral raises. I couldn't do cables because there was someone on the cables at the time, so, I had to do dumbbells, but, dumbbell lateral raises are also good. I do like the stretch and contraction, I just don't like it as much as cables. And that's because with the dumbbells, when you get to the top right there and the bottom, there is no tension on the muscle. And with cables, throughout the entire movement, there's going to be full tension on the muscle, which means, the most amount of muscle growth. Obviously, we're splitting hairs here. It's not going to cause you to go from my physique to David Lade, but, we'll allow you to get a little bit better. But I want to reiterate that once you're splitting hairs like that, it's to the point where just do what you like, because the biggest name of the game for a lot of people, including myself, is sustainability. We get into arguments of optimal and suboptimal, and really the argument should be sustainable or not sustainable. And there's, the whole thing of like, just be a man and do it or whatever, but, really it's about, you're not going to do something you like or something you dislike over a prolonged period of time. It's not going to work. Your mind and body is going to fight back and just say, hey, like, I don't like this. I don't want to keep doing this. And the gym is something that you should like, and you should, want to explore. And, that was the issue for me when I was lifting early on. It was like, I don't like all this, free weight stuff that I'm doing. I want to try out more machines, and that's also what really helped me, with my lifting journeys. There's a lot of machines that I like now that I use, and cables as well. that, you know, really have helped my lifting journey and really have helped me sustain, you know, lifting for almost 4 years now. So anyways, getting into the next set, we're going to do some more shoulder lateral raises, and really the key with these is trying to keep your pinkies up and going in the formation of a Y. As you look at my arms, I'm kind of making a Y shape. I'm also bending over a tad bit. The bending over isn't as crucial. I mean, it does help with less trap usage in this movement, but the most important part is arm placement and pinky going up. So heading towards the end here, we're switching to triceps. We have 2 tricep movements, and the first one is going to be tricep pushdowns. So I really like this movement. It's just a big staple. I saw that, what's his face? Dorian Yates. He is a big supporter of the tricep pushdown, and he also is a big supporter of the style of training that I do. So I guess to have a comparable training style to Dorian Yates is very, you know, it's nice to think about. Obviously, dude is much bigger than me, probably has better genetics than me. You know, I'm pretty sure he's a 6-time Mr. Olympia champion, I'm pretty sure. And anyways, just getting on to the working sets now. So we're going to be having a little bit of a different camera angle just because I feel like this one highlights my arms a little bit better, and really shows off that tricep. That's one of the strongest parts of my physique. Now I'm doing my usual working weight. Haven't been able to progressive overload during the cut, and usually that's kind of just like a, you know, standard, but you know, whatever. Getting to failure here, pushing really hard, and then obviously went to failure. I got a really cool, you know, flex right here. It's in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, right there. I could barely see it, but you know, in real life it was pretty sick. And then getting into the second working set, you know, again, really just focusing on stretch and contraction, going to failure, focusing on mechanical tension. So finishing off with some overhead skull crushers, machine wise, I don't really know what to call these, but anyways, yeah, machine overhead skull crushers, we'll just say that. And I know I said I was gonna do JM press for you guys. The Smith machine was literally taken the entire time I was at the gym. I don't know how that's possible, so couldn't really show that off, but anyways, just doing these same things. You know, triceps are very simple. You just, you know, I mean, they're as simple as any muscle. You know, you train them 2 times a week. Really focus on the stretch and contraction, mechanical tension, and progressive overload. So looking pretty sick right here. Got some pretty big boulder shoulders. Trying to pose for the camera, and I'm glad I did because I didn't actually get a proper pose down. So yeah. Everybody, just got done with the lift and just starting to head out now. Pretty good lift today, but I was talking with one of my buddies, and he was telling me I should probably change up my leg day regimen. So that is a very compelling point because my legs are quite simply the weakest point of my physique. They've gotten better, but they are not, should we say, adequate. So gonna change that up. I might change to an upper lower split. I know I keep changing you know, stuff or whatever, and I always come back to push pull legs, but I think that I'm gonna contact one of my friends who does upper lower a lot, and he loves it, so I'm gonna contact him and ask him to show me what he does, because I just need to change it up. And who knows, maybe, you know, it might be a good decision. So I don't know, I'm kind of going by Togi's logic right now, where, you know, you can't be afraid of failure, and, you know, you have the option to stay the same or try, possibly succeed, or you could fail, and then you're kind of just right back to where you were, which would have happened if you didn't try at all. So it's like you have upside instead of no upside. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Change up the leg day. But just to address the chest day we had today, very good. Didn't get a pump check for you guys, but you know, there's good lighting all over that gym, so kind of like had a pump check throughout the whole thing. Not doing like Sam Sulek style where I just keep my pump cover on the entire lift. I actually like to see, you know, what's going on under the hood while I'm working it out. So that's good. I think, you know, I had a good day today, off of a week back. Great to be back in the gym. And it was just a good, you know, time to clear my head. And tomorrow will be back day, and then the next day will be leg day. I'm thinking about actually maybe doing a chest or push, legs, pull. I mean, wouldn't that make more sense? Because then you give your upper body a rest, and you can do legs in the middle, and then you can do back after. Because some of the muscles you work on push day also like counteract with the muscles you work on pull. Like, for example, I'm doing bench press, and you have two muscles in your chest. Everyone says you have three, you only have two. You have the pectoralis major, which is the big, you know, muscle that you see, you know, that's what your chest looks like. And you have the pectoralis minor, which is actually under your pectoralis major, under your chest. And that one is responsible for, I believe, scapular flexion. And if you don't know what scapular flexion is, it is like your shoulder blade, your scapula, and just flexion just means like movement, flexing your shoulder blade. So that's why, like, if you work chest, the next day you could be sore in your lats or, you know, any part of your back. So I think what I'll do actually is, I think tomorrow we're actually going to run legs, because I was supposed to run legs today because that was the next day after when I was sick, but I was just like, I've been sick for a week, I'm going to treat myself to a nice push day. And that's the attitude that has gotten my legs so small. So yeah, tomorrow we'll do legs. Thumbnail will just be, it's not going to be a pump check because my legs are not up to par. So yeah, we'll do legs tomorrow. And that will be that. So also, if any of you wanted to comment and just, you know, say what you do, like what do you, what's your split? What do you usually do for your leg days, especially? Because, man, I need help with that. I would love some feedback, because I'm talking about it. It's very lagging. It's not where I want it to be, and that's because I would skip legs a lot during my lifting career before I really got serious, like this past year, I would say. This past year I really got serious and started honing in. And there's kind of levels to this, where, like, you know, your first year, it's like you're kind of figuring everything out. It's like, you know, okay, what works best for me? What exercises do I like? And then your second year, at least for me, it was figuring out the volume of everything. After I realized what I liked and what I wanted to do and what split I wanted to do, I was like, okay, do I respond more to higher volume, like 10 to 15 reps? Do I respond more to mid volume, like 8 to 12? Or do I respond more to lower volume, like 5 to 8? And I found that I responded more to 5 to 8. reps, which I think most people do, but everyone's unique. And so I responded more to 5 to 8 reps, and so that's what I've been doing. But I think for legs, I never really figured legs out, so I know what exercises I like. At least we have that out of the way. But we're gonna have to work on volume and intensity, because right now I'm just doing the same thing as upper body, and I think it's actually too much intensity, which I never thought I would say that. I think it's too much intensity and not enough volume, because I'm really burnt out after leg day. And I know, like, leg day is leg day, it should kill you, but I think that it shouldn't be killing me this much. And there's, if my legs were growing and it was killing me this much, and I would just feel like shit after leg day and feel like shit the next day and the next day and the next day, but my legs were huge, I'd be like, oh, okay, like, at least it's working. I mean, I fucking hate leg day, but at least it's working. Like, with this, it's like, this kind of just killing myself for no reason. So next time, tomorrow, up in the volume a little bit, or not going to failure at least as much, and just not just going through the motion, focusing on every rep, making sure the stretch and contraction is as good as I can make it. And I think with that approach, things should work out. Now, I think we've all heard the expression, God or man plans or something, and God laughs. So obviously we're going to have to tinker. You're always going to tinker. Even if you've been training for 20 years, you're still tinkering a little bit. At least that's what I've heard from, pro bodybuilders and big YouTubers, even like Rich Piana, before he passed away. He would still like mix up his stuff and, talk about how the body can't get used to a workout. So there's definitely some truth in that. And I think that my legs have just either, they're not responding because it's just the same every time. It's not enough volume, too much intensity, what have you. We are going to figure this out. And again, if this, lower volume leg day is shit and you hate it, but it works, then personally, I would keep doing it. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to how bad do you want it? I mean, are you willing to go to hell and back to reach your goals? And for me, I am willing to. But since going to hell and back isn't working, I'm not going to do it. And sometimes, you gotta just drop your ego. You can't, just be like, oh, I'm a man, and, a man has to do this, man has to do that, no matter what. No. If it's not working, don't do it. If it's not working and you hate it, especially, don't do it. So, anyways, just got home, guys. Just gonna have some protein on my post-workout meal. I'm really hungry. And, I will see you in the next one.